You're 11 times more likely to die in a house fire if you don't have one of these. 11 times, and that's not me being dramatic, that's the official UK figure. Quick one if you're new here, I'm Simon from Simon Security Experts. I'm a professional security engineer. I've been doing this for 12 years, and on this channel I share real world tips on how to keep your home safe with security solutions. So let's get straight into the nitty gritty of this video. These little things right here have a dirty little secret. You see, most homes have one, which of course is brilliant, but when a real fire actually breaks out, half the time it doesn't do its job. You might be a lot more vulnerable from a fire hurting you or your family than you actually realize. So here's the deal. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to set up your fire detection properly with the right sensors in the right rooms so yours is in the half that works. And stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you the dirty little secret itself. It's the one thing that incredibly almost no one knows about or no one knows to check for that quietly turns a working alarm into a useless one. Stick with me to that last point because knowing it could genuinely save your life or save your family's life. And honestly, I'm not being dramatic. It's genuinely that serious. So go and check your own house after this. Check your mum and dad's, maybe your nans, your brothers, your sisters, basically any relative who, you know, you'd rather didn't die in a house fire. Hopefully that's all of them. And here's why that 50-50 matters so much. You see, 92% of UK homes have a working smoke alarm, 92%. So as a country, we've done absolutely amazing. We've done really well, and we've kind of stopped thinking about it. That's the trap. Having one has made everyone feel safe when whether it actually saves you comes down to something that's completely different. A lot of it comes down to where these sensors go. So first I'm going to walk you through the 3 most important areas. If you get these right, then you're already ahead of most of the country. And then at the end comes the dirty secret, the thing that catches out even people who've done everything else right. Right, let's go. So let's start in the place where over 50% of house fires actually begin, in the kitchen. The place where you cook and, you know, you sing along while you're doing it. Oh, well, I know if she really loves me. But because of that cooking, it makes it a really high risk area. So you'd think, well, what a perfect place to have a smoke sensor. But you'd be wrong. Now, I'm sure you all know what this is. It's a toaster. And what happens when you burn the toast? And here's a hob where you might whip up a steak. And what happens when you whip up a steak? That's right. You get an incredible amount of smoke, don't you? So what ends up happening if someone puts a smoke sensor in their kitchen is they end up taking the batteries out, taking it apart and just leaving it. What you need for a kitchen is called a heat sensor. Now what this does, it doesn't detect smoke, it detects heat, usually around about 55 degrees Celsius. Now when a fire breaks out in a kitchen, it's unbelievable how fast that area will reach that temperature. So what this does is it has a sensor inside that triggers the moment it gets particularly hot in that room. So it'll ignore the smoke from, you know, your hob or from your toaster if you burn anything, and it'll just trigger when it senses the heat. So it won't trigger at burning things, but a chip pan fire, for example, it will trigger really quickly. So a really good rule of thumb for home security when it comes to fire protection is a heat sensor in the kitchen and a smoke sensor everywhere else. Now guys, we're in the hallway, and if there was only one place in the entire home where I could put a smoke sensor, which would be a really weird rule, I would put it in the hallway. It's an incredibly important position. You can see mine just there, just behind the light. The reason for that is it's on the route down of your escape route most of the time. It's usually a place where the stairs are leading down to, where your front door is, and an area that links multiple rooms. For example, my kitchen's through there, my living room's through there, so it's a really important space to protect. You see, smoke funnels, so if it fills up in your hallway with no detection there, it's going to filter up to upstairs, cutting off your exit route. A sensor in the hallway catches fire early and gives you some incredibly important seconds that really matter in order to get out. Now we're up the stairs on the landing. It's the same logic as the hallway, just one floor up. Hot smoke will rise, you see. So if something starts downstairs and funnels upstairs, your landing is your early warning sensor. The bare minimum is to have one detector on every floor. I always want a kitchen heat sensor, but talking about smoke sensors, you want a minimum of one on every floor. So like a hallway and a landing is great. It will usually cover the route for your way out on both levels. You need the detection up here because, you know, you sleep up here. Now I always find this one a crazy one because where am I right now? Well, I'm in a bedroom. What happens in a bedroom? You're asleep, you're unconscious for maybe 8 hours. And the thing is, most people don't bother putting smoke detection in the bedroom, but it's an incredibly important place to protect. Those few seconds that you would gain can genuinely be the difference between life or death. An electrical fire, for example, can start anywhere. It doesn't just have to be downstairs, it just doesn't have to be in communal areas. It could be in your bedroom, and when something starts smoking in the room, the smoke sensor will let you know very early so you can get out. To be honest, if you don't have one in here, you wouldn't wake up until it's too late. It's unbelievable how fast fire spreads. Quite straightforward when you think about it. Protect the rooms where you're likely going to be unconscious for 8 hours a night. Protecting bedrooms is not overkill. It can be the difference between waking up in time or not waking up at all. So just before I tell you that dirty little secret, let's do a quick recap of what we've covered, because getting these right can genuinely save your life. Number one, the right sensor in the right room. That means heat sensor in the kitchen, smoke everywhere else pretty much all the time. That's usually the golden rule. Number two, you need enough of them, and they need to be in the right places. You need one on every floor and in the rooms that really matter, so that you're warned and you've got plenty of time, not 2 minutes too late, because the way fire spreads, it's nothing like in the movies. Those 2 minutes are incredibly important. And three, keep the batteries in the sensors and keep them working. Don't be the house that pulls the battery out at 2 a.m. and then, never puts it back. Do those three things and you're most of the way there, but none of them are the dirty secret. You see, I think this is something that people need to talk about a lot more, so let's get into it. Here's the thing that almost no one knows. A smoke alarm does not last forever. It has an expiry date, and I don't mean just changing the battery. Ask yourself an important question. How old is your smoke sensor? Do you even know? Most people never give it a thought, but you need to, because the sensor inside slowly clogs up with things like dust, cooking grease, damp air off your morning shower, and after about 10 years, it's worn out. It's done. But here's the part that makes it so dangerous. It will still beep when you press the test button. So you press it, you hear the chirp, and you think, oh, great, well, that works. And then, you walk away. But that test only checks the battery and the speaker. It does not check whether the sensor can actually detect real smoke. So right now, there are literally millions of homes with an alarm on the ceiling that passes the test every single time, but physically cannot detect a fire anymore. The people underneath it feel completely safe, but they're not. So here's what I want you to do the second this video ends. Take your smoke alarm off the ceiling, just temporarily, of course, and look at the back of it or the side of it. There'll likely be a replace by date printed on it. It might say something like replace by 2028, or if that date's already gone, or you've genuinely got no idea how old the thing is, it needs replacing. Not next month, now. That's the secret. And now you're one of the few people who actually know that your fire sensors have an expiration date, and the entire unit needs changing. And it needs changing more often than you realize. So the right sensor in the right rooms with working batteries and an alarm that's actually still alive. Sort those and you're firmly in the half that works, instead of the half that unfortunately finds out the hard way. Quick word on what I do. I have a wireless DIY security system called the Guardfather security system. It's a burglar alarm designed to protect your home from intruders, and yes, smoke sensors are part of it. This is one right here. They link straight into the same app as your alarm, so if one triggers while you're at work or away, your phone tells you, and it'll also give you an incredibly loud warning on site. There's no subscription, no monthly fees. You fit it yourself, following along with my YouTube setup videos. And if you get stuck, you get me, not a call center. Link below if that's any use to you. But whatever you do, go and check every sensor in your house tonight, the type, the position, and the date on the back. It's a 5-minute job, but it's genuinely one of the best things you will ever do for yourself or the people under your roof. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.